It is one of my favorite hops, and it's one that you don't see used as much as you should. This month's featured hop Amarillo is just a Spanish word that means yellow. It's kind of a funny story on the origin of these hops. A lot of the more modern varieties have this whole big story about how they cross-pollinated all these different things and how there was all this real scientific, intent behind it. The story behind Amarillo is a little bit different. The legend is that in around the 1990, I think it was actually 1990, in Washington, the Virgil, I hope I'll pronounce this correctly, pardon me, Virgil, the Virgil Gash Farms, again in Washington, was wandering through a field of liberty that they had planted, and down in the ground noticed this kind of little piddly, more yellowish in hue and kind of wilty looking hop vine sticking out of the ground. Maybe he was thinking about weeding it or whatever, but he let it grow, and eventually he noticed that it was a completely different species than the rest of the liberty that was surrounding it. It sprouted or ripened later into the season with much smaller cones, but when they ended up testing them and using them in some brewing applications, produced a hop cone and produced a beer with really intensely bright tropical fruity aromas, very much different, obviously, than the Liberty field that it had been growing in. Cultivated those, and then I think by 1991, they registered, I made notes for this one, guys. It's the VGX-P01 was kind of their experimental name that they put onto this hop variety. So one of the funny things about Amarillo is that secret is just very, very tightly held, and to this day, it's one of the last hops around that is still very, very litigious in protecting the trademark that they have on this. We've been in business here for 8 years, and I've worked in the homebrew industry for a few years beyond that. And the only time that we have ever interacted with the legal system of the whole, trademark protection world out there is with Amarillo hops. We got a letter from some attorney or trademark office a few years ago saying, "Hey, we noticed that you're selling Amarillo hops. We see them on your website." They sent me screenshots of our website. But you don't have the registered trademark symbol after there, and you didn't have the verbiage about this product is owned by the Virgil whatever farms. So I think I ignored that email and then got another one a few weeks later that was like, "You didn't respond to our email and you still haven't done this. We sure don't want to have to push this, but please put this shit on your website." So we did. All that being said, Amarillo is a really good hop, so I can see why they want to protect it so closely. I always describe it to people who ask about, the aromatics and stuff. I've always just described it like sticking your head into a honeysuckle bush and just breathing in. That's kind of miserable right now because it's January and my allergies, oh my gosh. But these are actually pretty good for clearing the sinuses. Really, really big tropical fruit, light kind of peachy aromas coming off of it. But more than anything to me, it's just really, really, really nice and floral. I think the way that they describe it, at least in their packaging, is just citrus, herbal, spicy, stone fruit, and woody. High on the alpha range, they can go from 8 to I think sometimes up to 11%. But they're one of the highest hops in that, I can't remember the type of alpha acid it is, but it's the one that has those really, really citrusy notes that come through. And that's really, really apparent when you end up using it in a beer. Has good bittering characteristics, but obviously it's gonna shine the most for aromatic and flavoring additions. This is a dry hopped Amarillo Pale Ale that we have here. It actually is Gumball Head, which is one of the only beers I can think of on the market right now that I believe is still 100% dry hopped or hopped with the Amarillo hops. So if you want to get your head around it, give some of this stuff a try. Or if you guys want to try brewing with it, we've got plenty of Amarillo registered trademark in the shop here. This is our C&D Amarillo Pale Wheat Ale. So again, very much an homage to the Gumball Head that, at least to me, was what made me first take notice of this hop and want to start incorporating it into my brewing. You don't see it used a ton commercially, and it does seem like that's because they protect that trademark so closely. They're the only place that can make it. And just because so much of stuff is bought on contract and bought on future these days, there's only so much to go around, and it's hard for a brewery to plan to make a beer as big as Gumball Head, knowing that they may or may not be able to get Amarillo from year to year. So you don't see it used as much as I would like because it is one of my favorite hops, but when you can get it, and especially in a homebrew scale, you can pretty much always get it. It's really nice. I've used it in black IPAs before as well. It's a really, really nice one there. But again, we're using it for this recipe in a pale wheat. Optimistic of the spring weather coming. We've got like a 50-degree day out there in January, coming off of like single-digit week that we had here. So it's tasting pretty good. We're ready to go with this going into the spring. Come on in and try it if you guys would like. It's going to be our featured recipe and our featured hop for February. We look forward to trying it with you. If you have thoughts on it, or if you guys have used it in any special recipes, leave us a comment. We look forward to seeing you all in here soon.